Delta Force.
Giddy up.
It's either a game that you've never heard about, or it's an extraction shooter that you've been addicted to for the past year. When you think of extraction looter shooter, what do you think of? Tarkov probably comes to mind. Arena Breakout might come to mind. But the general consensus is that you're taking in gear to go crazy in to try and take out even more gear to make profit. Well, Delta Force has some very unique problems, but its number one problem probably has to be the loot. Now, what do you have if you take out the loot in looter shooter? It becomes Delta Force. Now, what do you think makes more money in Delta Force? Coming in geared or coming in with nothing? If the answer was coming in with nothing, then you're correct. The usual gameplay loop for Delta Force is coming in with gear, wiping the entire lobby, just to then realize that you've only made a net profit of like 500k because your battle cost is super high due to your armor getting cooked so much that you're using repairs and then using your ammo as well. And everything you're picking up off of everybody just doesn't make up the price of your gear set that you brought into that raid. Like, the loot is so bad in Delta Force that the economy cannot sustain itself. The prices of our own armors, the prices of purple armors has gone up to nearly the same price as golds because there's so little people buying gear in this game. Because you learn really quickly that coming in with nothing gets you way more profit if you were to survive and kill one team compared to if you brought gear in and wiped the entire team that had nothing to wear in the first place, like no gear in the first place. So there's an element of being heavily promoted to bring in bare minimum gear, potentially rat somewhere to try and kill that one team that actually does have money. Because who likes playing a game, especially an extraction shooter, where even if you're winning, even if you're killing all the teams and surviving, you're still not seeing your net profit back at the stash increase. It's such a unique problem that I've seen for an extraction shooter. It's like having no loot has damaged the economy more than anything, and it's just been promoting players to have to play the game completely different in order to see their money like increase and, you know what I mean, get that rewarding feeling that an extraction shooter should be given. You should be wiping a team that is mega juiced and feeling that adrenaline straight away because, oh my god, if you get out, you've just doubled, tripled your money. But it's not like that, and it hasn't been like that for the entire season. Now, this is where other problems start to come in with Delta Force 2. So they have different tiers of game modes. You've got easies, where it's pretty much the worst level of loot in the game. You've got normals, where it pretty much opens up where you can take any level of gear into, and then you've got your hard modes, which is a gear limit. So you've got a minimum entry requirement, which pretty much forces you to come in pretty juiced, which is meant to be the mode where, you know, once you've got a bit of experience behind you go here to fight other people with experience and good gear. But it's within these modes that you start to find another problem with the game. Can you imagine the economy being so bad in your extraction looter shooter? People are turning to cheaters to boost them in game by wiping the lobby to have them getting paid real world money, cheat in a lobby for them, and wipe the entire server so they can pick up all the loot to make up, say, like 10 million. The economy is so bad that the cheating epidemic within this game is mostly due to people buying money because the gameplay loop itself isn't rewarding enough. So instead of doing loot runs or just playing the game barely geared over and over again till they start seeing their money increase, they would just rather buy a 20 mil, 50 mil boost from a cheater so they just can continue playing. It's become such a problem in the hard modes that the new map that they've added for the season, Tide Prison, is genuinely unplayable. It's the map with the highest minimum entry requirement, so you need to go in with golds at a minimum with a decent gun, which means it's an absolute haven for boosters and cheaters that are making money boosting players that are wanting in-game currency. So playing that map genuinely feels like you're thrown into a shark pit of people just trying to make real world money by killing everybody else so that their boostee can pick up all the loot, you know, and make their paycheck. And throughout the entire season that we've had this map, the anti-cheat hasn't changed, the loot compensation hasn't gotten any better, so the gameplay loop has become you either playing normals, wiping grays, blues, making barely a million every single raid, or you're getting sick of that and you're trying to go into hard mode just to get cheated on because there's people buying boosts in the game rather than actually playing. And in a free-to-play game where cheaters have the option to use special symbols in their name to make it harder for you to search up. Not only can they hide their history inside of the game, yeah, there's a feature for these cheaters to be making it harder for you to even find out if they're cheating. But even if they get banned, you're not getting your gear back, and they can just make fresh accounts, or they're buying fresh accounts the very next day, and they're continuing to play with cheese. So all of this stacked on top of an already terrible economy has made the gameplay loop unrewarding more than anything. Which for an extraction looter shooter, that's pretty much what you're thriving on. So what do I think they could do to make economy and looting better for Delta Force? Number one would just be buffing the loot all around in general. The weirdest part about all the problems that I've listed so far is that there's two versions of Delta Force. There's the global version, which is EU and NA, and there's a China version. And the Chinese version doesn't have any of the issues that I've stated because their economy is different. They actually have loot in their game. They have 5x the player base, sure, but the way their loot works is completely different to ours. A red repair in our game, which costs 600, 700, 800k, would only cost 200k over there because their economy sustains itself, which means there's more money to be made to buy gear. There's plenty of it. When in our game, everything is 5x the price, and the in-game barters are practically useless. So say you find a drip coffee or whatever it is to make some armor, right? You wait the 16 hours, by the way, it takes to make a full set of gold armor to then eventually try your luck in a hard mode just to get blatantly aimbotted. Like, devs, what are we thinking? So we've spoken about the economy and we've spoken about cheaters, which is also just a natural byproduct of the economy too, because it's like most people are buying boosts just to keep playing because the gameplay loop otherwise is you're coming in doing knife runs, or you're going in barely kitted and probably dying to PvP if you don't really know what you're doing. And don't even get me started on console launch. Console launched about a month ago and they were stuck on the same economy as us. They got put on the exact same economy. So we saw as the console players were logging on, trying to gear up for the first time, spending the million that the game gives you just to get absolutely destroyed by PC players and cheaters, just to eventually either stop playing or immediately be forced into the depravity that you need to do just to start making money, which is doing knife runs or going in with barely any gear, ratting somewhere, trying to kill somebody that does have gear. It promotes the worst level of gameplay instantly, and it's all because of the economy in the game. It's like, I know you're gonna have rats and chads in games, especially in looter shooters, but when the ratting is promoted straight away because that's genuinely like the most successful way to make money, it's like, what can you do at that point, you know? And for the people that have been playing at the start of the season that have 50 mil plus, like, yeah, we have the option to come in geared whenever we want. But a new player's experience would be you can't touch that level of gear because it's so expensive. You're gonna have to be running budget for a long time in the first place just to even get the chance to run decent gear, to then experience hard mode, just to then learn that it's filled with cheaters killing you 80% of the time anyway. So it's just the weirdest gameplay loop for an extraction shooter that I have ever seen. I've been yapping for 20 minutes already, so I've listed, I think, some of the main issues with the game itself. Now, what can we do to fix these issues? As I've said before, I think just buffing the loot itself, like in every single container, the amount of loot in this game that is absolutely useless that you're never picking up, or even the purple sellables you might be picking up, you're just going to be dropping for gear that you find anyway. So like increasing the price of all types of sellables, increasing the level of loot that you get, triple the percentage of reds. The economy can't sustain itself. Give us the option to fold down bags into 2 slot, 3 slots. Like, if they're not going to buff the loot and the whole match is going to be filled with rats, at least let me be able to loot every single rat just to be able to make a little bit of profit at least. Give us better in-game barters. Nobody wants to wait 8 hours for one piece of golden gear. The fact that it's been this for this long has just been absolutely insane. I should be able to craft purple armor for cheap, and it should give me like 3, 4, 5 sets to use for that gameplay session. So purples should be an hour craft that costs 100k to make what, 3 armors, 4 armors, you know? Golds should take 2 hours maximum, and that should give us 2 sets, 3 sets, you know? Like, all of these need to be worth it. Otherwise, you're just promoting promoting deprived level of gameplay where you're coming in barely geared with gold ammo and you're sitting in a corner waiting for somebody juice to roll in. And by all means, people do that. People do that to make money. And in a game where it's meant to be fast-paced action, you know, we've just been seeing the gameplay and playstyles change for the worst, and it's all because of the economy, I feel like. Because who wants to play the game normally just to go broke to then have to do a full day of grinding, doing knife runs just to keep playing the next day? Absolutely nobody. Another thing that would be good for the game, removing the hidden history, and also with problems like cheaters just using symbols in their names and being able to hide their history in game, it's just making it way harder for us to even ban / report these cheaters in the first place. And even if they do get banned, we don't see any of our gear back, and they can just buy a new account instantly and continue cheating the next day. I feel like I've touched most of the problems that I wanted to touch on in this video, but if you think I've missed anything out, or if you disagree with anything I've said or agree with anything I've said, then please let me know in the comments. I feel like talking about these issues is only gonna help games because I played these games before, you know. I've been in the same situation with the Psycho Frontier where we've witnessed the game slowly disintegrate in our hands. And back then we were talking about the issues and we knew it would be a problem, and look at it now. The game is fully closed down. It feels like if Delta Force doesn't change something, then they're gonna be in some pretty bad situation very soon. But what's crazy is that, as I've said, that the game has 2 versions, and that the Chinese version is super successful and fun to play, while our version just feels like it's just slowly dying off. Even with console release a month ago, which had 100+ million views on the channel, by the way. So yeah, hopefully Delta Force can clutch up, especially for the new season that's coming out around the corner. But expect some API videos, boys, because I've been enjoying some other games recently, which actually feel rewarding to play, believe it or not. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm excited to read everyone's opinions. That's from console players to PC players, chads, rats. Let me know what you're thinking, because staying silent about things like this just will not help anybody. We'll just see another game slowly sunset. And I really don't want that for Delta Force. I want this game to thrive more than anything. This is generally the loop of the game. Get geared, go to hard mode, die to a cheater. So yeah, if you've never been here before, this is what the game looks like. We'll catch you in the next one, boys. Thank you for listening, and peace.